Welcome back, troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. Today we're going to check out a really cool custom-colored Les Paul. So the seller describes it as a Gibson Les Paul Custom Shop R7 1957 reissue from 2011 in an aqua blue color. Now, I've seen blue Les Pauls before, but have you ever seen one that looked quite like this one? I shop for guitars constantly throughout the day, and this one caught my eye in the morning a couple of days ago. It's just such a beautiful hue. It's got a dark burst to it and then a nice aqua blue color. I mean, this is like review worthy. But what kind of makes it strange, being an R7, that means this is based off of like a Goldtop specs. So normally you would not have a super flamed out top. Now some of the vintage ones, they can have flame hiding under it, but finding something perfectly evenly matched, yeah, that's not quite realistic. So they definitely took some liberties on this build. But that's pretty much what makes this one special, is that blue finish. And looking through all these photos, I was enamored with this thing, but it wasn't until my second run through that I realized this is not a regular teardrop shaped burst. It's actually a rim burst, and it's not necessarily 100% evident in every single photo, but this one, you really see it. And that's what made me decide, yeah, I don't like this guitar as much anymore. I wish it was that more tight teardrop burst, because that's just what I generally prefer. But as far as specs here, it looks like we have the correct golden top hat knobs with the historic ABR1 bridge, which means we'll also have a long neck tenon. We've got Gibson custom shop pickups in here, and somebody decided to do a top wrap on the tailpiece. And just in case you're not familiar with that, that's like opening a whole different can of worms, but some people say that it makes the strings feel slinkier and they just prefer it. You can try it for yourself. I don't personally love the look of it, but there's a lot of people that swear by it, and then a lot of people that don't like it at all. But that flame top is just gorgeous with this finish. But then we flip over to the back. I was kind of surprised by this. I didn't really know what to expect. A natural back on this would have been very striking and jarring, but instead it looks like it's either black or a really, really, really dark blue color. I'm not really sure which one I would want it to be the most, because I'm not a huge fan of the black backs because they show scratches and all that, fingerprints, marks. And when you're buying a custom shop guitar, you really want to see that beautiful mahogany wood grain, just like you can see the flame on the front. But I do appreciate the fact that they left the brown back plates alone. That's a quirky spec that I enjoy, even though black and brown don't necessarily match in a historical sense. It's just kind of interesting. I like it. Too bad they didn't go for a dark back, kind of have it that brown ambered color. So this dark back got a couple of shades even darker. Now moving on to our headstock here, it looks like regular Kluson style tuners, no breaks, cracks, or repairs on this one. And our serial number 7177 looks like 1. So you can read that as 7 for a 1957 reissue. So that lines up with what he's saying right here. And then this digit will tell us the year of production. So that makes it a 2011 or a 2001. In order to tell the difference, you kind of have to look at the case candy. So 2001 would have had the big, large paper COAs. So that tells you it's a 2011. And that's the production number that this guitar was in 2011 for every single 57 reissue. That's not just the 57 gold tops. That also includes like the customs, juniors, and specials that were made within that year. So it's just kind of a cool custom color that I wanted to share with you guys because I was a little bit low on time. But what does the seller have to say about this? Anything interesting? Well, besides saying it's not a refinish and it's the Gibson original painting job, and Gibson Burstbucker 1 and 2 pickups, doesn't look like there's anything else too special. Except for this, that's really weird. They say that the neck is quite thinner than the standard R7 model. That's the whole reason why you get an R7 is because it's a giant baseball bat. So why is this not like a 58 or 59 reissue if it doesn't even have the 57 neck profile? Goofy. 3.85 kilograms. That's 8.5 pounds. That's pretty light for a historic guitar. But looking at this guitar, I can't help but think of this one. My lean green tone machine, the 2004 Cloud 9 reissue. That was a 1959 in this really cool green burst color. I dug it, but green's not for everybody. I think that guitar was like 7.5 pounds, something like that. But whenever I look at this one, it reminds me of that guitar, so I think it's going to be chambered or something, but I believe it's a solid body. So if you're interested in being the next owner of this one, it is available by Michael's Gear Bazaar here in Poland. I'm not even going to try to say that. And he wants $4,502.08 for it. It doesn't appear that he's open to shipping in the US, so this one's for my international viewers. What do I think of that price? Within the United States, I think you could get something similar to that. That's like a top dealer asking price. If I were asked to appraise this guitar today, I would probably say it's worth anywhere between $3,200 to $3,800. Because you gotta remember, it's an R7. They're not quite as popular as R9s. But with a beautiful color and top like this, I mean, I would probably be listing it at something very similar as well, because sometimes someone will fall in love with that and they'll pay a little bit more for it. So it's a fair price, but definitely don't be scared to make him an offer and talk him down a little bit. As our second topic of today, we're going to visit Todd's Vintage Guitars in Clearwater, Florida, with his Gibson SG Standard from 1971 in the original cherry. Now, I got to notice, it says early Kahler installed. Oh my goodness. Take a look at this thing. I couldn't help but laugh and need to share this with someone. This is an example of one of the last large guard style SGs that had the vibrola system on it and everything, and somebody decided they didn't like the way that it stayed in tune, so they ripped the bar portion off, so you kind of got like the Derek Trucks SG type vibe going on now, but they installed a Kahler, so it still has that really cool look with the vibrola tailpiece, and you still get some whammy action, but yeah, they chopped up one of the last good SGs. But honestly, if you're a real SG buff, you hate these early 70s ones anyways, because they have hardly any contour to the horns. I don't know if I would rock this one or not. I'm usually adverse to Kahlers, but I kind of dig the vibe with the vibrola tailpiece cover on the bottom, because it just makes it look slightly more traditional. Looks like we got our typical cracks by the output jack, witch hat knobs. Should be patent number T-tops in here. You can see they're quite rusty looking. I would love to one day get a true vintage SG Standard. They even put a locking nut on it. I guess they have to, but that's like the same style that you'll see on the Elite series that Gibson did in the late 80s. But yes, eventually I'll get an original 60s large guard SG on the show, and one of the small ones. It was about 4 years ago. I think I was going to buy like a 67 SG. It was like $10,000. I had talked him down to $7,000. I thought I was getting a great deal. But then I ended up not buying it because I was too scared. I've heard so many horror stories about, heels breaking on SGs. And it was coming from Canada, but that was like when I first started going back through with all this dealing stuff. Usually guitars don't break as long as you pack them properly and you don't try to smash them against someone. That's the route job they did there. The only question left, would you rock this Blue Burst R7 or not? Leave your answer down in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you tomorrow on the next episode. Take care.